Hey YouTube, Alan back with part 5 I think. Well, certainly the last part of my Wonder Boy 3, the Dragon's Trap playthrough. So last time we did the Lion Man section, we turned into Hawkman and left it there. So Hawkman is the final animal form in the game, so we could just look to do his final dungeon and complete it. But beforehand, I figured let's go and do the final side quest and get the last few kind of secret areas and get that done. Now, when I left off, I looked at my money and thought, I probably have enough, but I'll just get a little bit more just in case. So you might notice my totals are different, and I've lost some health. But anyway, we need to go up the tower again to do one of the side quests. I mentioned this earlier on, but I could go up, but I figure why not fly? Because of course Hawkman can fly. That's his big thing. So we drop down here, and we're going to go back to the left, back to the pyramid in the sky. But this time around, you can literally just fly over everything. So I guess it's a really good point to, I suppose, chat. Unlike a lot of the stuff in the last two parts, where the game was getting a lot more difficult, and I was having to focus and not really able to consider, what I was going to say. It was more, okay, got to focus on the gameplay. And really, what I wanted to kind of bring up in this part was just to reiterate, I suppose, how smartly designed the game is. And it's one of those things where I feel that, at least until the remake came out, that this game was chronically underappreciated because it was a Master System predominantly, focused game. Yes, there is a PC Engine port, but that only came out in Japan as far as I know. So, for all intents and purposes, you either played this on a Master System or you didn't play this at all. It probably got a little more exposure back when it was released in the Virtual Console, and actually both versions, both the Master System and PC Engine version, came out on the Virtual Console. But it wasn't until the remake that I think that people really started to pay attention when they seen the new kind of artwork that Lizard Cube did. And just as a little background, Lizard Cube, in terms of this game, there was two people predominantly involved. One of them was Bach. He's the guy that created SMS Power, the website. So anyone who's into Master System for a while will probably be aware of that big preservation effort there. So yeah, I should have mentioned that. I mentioned this in part 1 where you could break those blocks in that secret room in the Sphinx, and there's more chests, but you can only open one at a time. The very last one has charm stones. Each chest basically is a thing, and of course there's yet another potion that I can't use. So you got to exit out. I should have done that. Should have been facing the other way. And you can go back in basically as many times as you want, break through, and get the rest of the. Oh, come on! Get the rest of the prizes. So I could have gone back here earlier. Once I got the sword to break the bricks, the magical saber is it, or thunder saber, whatever, and got the first few chests, but I couldn't get all of the chests until you're Hawkman, so I kind of tend not to bother. So yes, I was saying about Bach. He was a founder of SMS Power, and I think it's Ben Fike is the guy that did the artwork. So the two of them obviously were primarily responsible for the remake, and they did a fantastic job. And of course, part of Lizard Cube, I think it was Ben Fike, went on to do the graphics and were involved with .emu for the Streets of Rage 4 game as well. So clearly there's some talent there in Lizard Cube, and I can't wait to see the next thing that they do as well. I mean, they clearly have a passion for kind of older Sega stuff, and in general you could actually say that that's going on, where Sega are now licensing out. I see that there's a House of the Dead remake going on, and again it's by an independent studio. Panzer Dragoon, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, all of these games, all these classic franchises, they're not being made by Sega themselves, they're being made by independent studios. And it's actually in fact, Sonic Mania, while that was kind of seen as an internal thing, Christian Whitehead and Taxman, or those guys, Headcanon, I can't remember, that that didn't work out, did it? That chest is probably empty now, and I didn't get it. So there's a whole bunch of fans that are kind of doing far more with Sega's properties than Sega did themselves. So I'm going to work backwards here. By the way, I should have probably said at the beginning of the video, if you want to kind of get to the kind of niche of this, might be better kind of skipping into the video. because the first part I'm going to do the side quests, but once I kind of get going, then I'll do the dungeon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's quite a few chests in there. There's probably 8 chests in there. Now, to be fair, I might actually drop the remainder, because they're basically just, each chest is a different magic, and at this point I have plenty of magic. Yeah, so I got boomerang, so I'll probably just leave it there. You get the gist. You can get all of the chests, and they do the same. It's great top up in magic, and it gave me a top up in money too, which is handy. Now I'm going to try and get most of the remaining gear, but I'm not going to get the crystal armor. They were hidden up at the top of the tower with Mouseman. I think I showed that in either the start of part 2 or the end of part 1. I can't quite remember. It's pretty pointless at this point in time, and it'd take 10 grand, you know, just for those 3, and I still want to get. Whoop. That was a bit funny. Didn't mean to do that. I still want to get the rest of the master gear. And what else is missing? I think one of Hawkman's equipment pieces. You can kind of tell by the name they're sort of linked to each character. Not entirely, but you know, there tends to be one for each. So you can fly over a lot of stuff now. Again, I think it was in part 1, in Lizardman's part, I did mention that there is a hidden area within this period, but that can only be reached by Hawkman, which is very strange. You don't go into the other dungeons again as any of the other characters to get, at least not to my knowledge, you don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Ooh, interesting. If anyone knows of any other items that I've missed, by all means let me know. Always keen to learn more. I mean, that's the thing about this game. Like, I got this, you know, was it 92 or something? I can't remember now. But it took me years to complete it. Oh, come on. So I'm just kind of trying to brute force this. I'd probably be quicker just killing them normally. I actually did not mean to fire those boomerangs, but they did the job. This is handy though, I can fly over those bouncy things. But it took me years to complete this game. And of course, I spent even longer learning extra secrets and hidden rooms, and I mean it was one of my more expensive Master System games. It cost like £25, although I got a Christmas gift. Actually, it could have been 30, which would make it actually the most expensive one. Okay, come on, I better kill you guys. Oh, and thank God I got that health. Sometimes it actually pays to go a little slower. There we go. See, I can fly up here. And there's another hidden chest. We get a bit more money. And it wouldn't shock me. Yeah, there's another two medicine vials. So much medicine, and none of it of use to me. Of course, when I was a kid, any of those medicine vials were super useful. So that got me out of here. But now I gotta fly back, which is rather unfortunate because as I'm Hawkman, I can't actually reach the return point. I have to fly back, so it's a little, it takes a little more time than it really should. I wasn't meaning to throw those boomerangs again. I suppose I was just flying downwards slightly, so when you press down and jump, jump is fly as well. I ended up using the boomerang. It's one of the disadvantages, I guess, of having a 2-button controller, as the Master System had. Hey, get back down. If you had 3 buttons, you would have just put magic on a separate button, and you wouldn't have had that issue. So I can just fly up here. Normally you wouldn't go out that way. Ah, yeah, little. Damn that evil Fonzie Cloud having the last laugh. Because they might be the last ones that I'll come across. Maybe not. Actually, there could be one more. Because there is one more side quest, as I kind of touched on, and that's to get the master equipment. I got one of them in the shop on the beach, the one that is in the hull of the upturned boat that Piranha Man stage was set in. But there's 2 more. and they are back near the start of the game, essentially. And I guess it does tie into somehow how you lost that equipment. Oh, come down a little early. I suppose there's nothing to really hurt me around now. In fact, where I'm going is quite challenging for Hawkman. I do seem to recall some of the enemies can do some serious damage to you. And to be honest, it's probably harder than the final dungeon. I remember the first time I got to the final dungeon, that being a big thing, going, oh my god, you know, I'm thinking how hard it would be, especially given some of the previous dungeons, but no, it's actually not too bad. So we first go in the shop and we get the Heavenly Shield. Do I need a key? I might have a key actually, let's see. No, I need a key, because you need a key for the final dungeon, so we get the key. And I have to go and get, there's a heart as well that I can get to. So the chest just there. If I was to have gone down the other hole, I would have hit water, and Hawkman does not like water. He actually gets hurt on it. Only character, and I don't really know why that is. And there we go. So that's not the final heart. There actually is one more heart in the ooh, came down a little fast there. And there's one more heart, and that's in the final dungeon. So you get it right near the end of the game. And it's very, very late to be getting the final heart. We can fly back up here, and we can follow this arrow back to essentially the opening castle. So do I need to change shields around? And let me see. 176. He prefers the Heavenly Shield, it seems. And okay, I'm not going to put on the Hades armor just in case. We'll go with Prince. Any better blade? 88, 104. Okay, we'll go with 104. Tasmanian sword. So yeah, this was the opening castle, and I like the fact that when I get to the central part, it'll still be collapsed. So you see, it's all damaged, in keeping with the opening. But if I go past, this is the area where I did my escape, this tunnel. And if you go in here and press up somewhere, where is it? Up. Come on, there we go. There's actually a hidden shop with the legendary shield, and it is quite expensive. I think that's the most expensive item in the game. So that's why I needed all that money. And I think that is, let's see, the legendary shield, is that better? No, it's not. The Heavenly Shield is better. So it just shows you, you know, technically the master equipment you think would be the best, and it is the best for human, but it's not for Hawkman. Varies per each character. Now we've got a few more, like the enemies are a lot tougher in here. Well, not that I'm meeting any of them right now, but there we go. Like, you certainly weren't meeting one of those guys the first time around. And you know, all the enemies are blue now. Dabba-dee dabba-doo. And of course, I still have to go follow the same route, but you'll see that the easier way down is being blocked by that orb thing, and a beginner trap there, which not only being a beginner trap, I knew it was coming, but I still hit that. So back where we met Mika Dragon is a chest now containing the legendary sword. I seem to remember there being more enemies, but my mind must be playing tricks on me here, it seems. So yeah, we no longer have a boss room, we just have one of the little treasure rooms, and it's got the sword in it, so we can change that up now to the legendary sword. 185, that's a lot better, isn't it? But still far down from Lineman and his 250 you know, attack power, because he is the most powerful character for attack. So we just got to get out of here and head to the final stage. Mind you, I will probably stop off at the vets to get some health. And there's a key to get out of here. It's funny how they've locked this door again, and they keep giving the key to the guy that's right beside it. I can probably fly over most of, you know, the enemies that'll meet around here. Which is funny that they're green after the blue one's in there. Oop. Hey! Well, at least he dropped some money, which will go towards my healthcare. There you go. So nearly out. One more go, and this time, like, you don't have to wait for the collapsing blocks. They're all in place. So, ooh. See yous. So yeah, we're all set, and I don't think I probably needed to do the grinding that I got, because I ended up with 1,000, and I basically got myself about that. But I certainly didn't want to end up having to do it on the video, which is why, you know, I went off stream. So is there anything left to do? I'm just trying to remember, or, you know, just think, is there anything left? Do I have the key? Oh, I used the key to get in there, so I have to buy another key. Oh well. I could go all the way back to the sky, you know, to the pyramid there, and get the key and exit again, but... Oh no, this isn't the bloody... I need to go to the shop. Yeah, it's just easier to just buy another key. Whee! Come on. And the key sold out. I think you can only have one key at a time, or at least it would seem that way, hence why I went sold out. So of course at the beginning of the game, like when you start here, you can actually see that it looks like you can go over here, but you can't get it. You can't get over there until you become Hawkman. So the final area is actually just above the vets. So yeah, it's just up here. We fly up and just go to the left, and we'll see. Oh no! Ah, my boomerang! Luckily, I've got plenty of them. Do you know what? The reason why I broke that one is because I said to myself, I think there's actually heart there. I didn't need to actually go and get healthcare, but whatever. So yeah, if you go here, you may end up in this room and go, oh, I'm stuck. And this is where the oh no, wrong button. The magical saber comes in. Because one of these, I think it's this one, but if it's not, I'll do that one just in case. So if I change back to legendary sword and break those, it'll turn into a question mark. I was right, yeah. And that gives me the hidden exit to the final dungeon. So it's kind of like the only thing you need that sword, the magical saber for, is that one room, because you needed to get out of the room you got it. Oh, and of course you got this extra piece of music that we had in the opening. Probably should have let it play. It's a good piece of music. So we got more of these stony firehead things, and hang on, what's in this? Is this another hospital? Oh, it is. So you gotta fly up there, and of course when you're flying, nuts, maybe I... Okay, let's go get cured. That didn't go well. And now I actually don't have enough money to pay my healthcare if I need it. That was sloppy. Oh, jeekers. And I thought I had enough. Thought I had enough space there to basically avoid being knocked back, but apparently not. So this dungeon here, even though it's kind of Hawkman's dungeon, hence the challenges are based on flight a bit. Oh, this is going to be a heart here, isn't it? Yeah. There's always a heart out of that brick. You do end up changing forms. So you kind of go through... Oh! Nuts. Sloppy. See, we see the Mouseman blocks, so you go through each of the creature forms, except for Lizardman. Apparently there's no love for Lizardman. Come on, out you go. So on we go. It's one of those kind of mazes. Whoop. Technically, I should look and change my sword and shield to to see if I've got the best match for this character. But I'm gonna try and. Oh, there was one more. I knew there was one more. Well, I certainly have enough money now for the hospital. Now, I am tempted actually to use my... I kind of like that you can just run under that gap. There's actually another gap here, so you don't have to jump over all those statues. I was going to say, I am tempted to use magic or something to get rid of him, but I think he would have respawned. So I think this is the final heart. It is, yes. So now we got all of the hearts, all of the equipment, I think, except for the crystal stuff. Yeah, Mystic Crystal. Mystic Crystal. Hang on. What? Did I not buy? I'm confused now. The legendary sword, which I got the legendary shield. I could have sworn I bought the legendary armor, but I don't seem to have it. Well, it's too late now, isn't it? It would have been on the beach, I believe, because as I said, there's 3 places where those the legendary equipment is. You get one in the well. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Okay. You forced me to bring out the big guns. Those bloody funsies don't give up. Yeah, that went really badly, actually. Normally I wouldn't use that sort of health there. I think I was too distracted by the fact that I forgotten one piece of equipment. And I was sure I got it in an earlier part. I'm actually going to have to go back and watch videos to see that I buy it or not. But it would seem odd not to have, because I remember being Line Man in that area. Oh yeah, I've never changed back to my boomerang. And it's completely thrown me for the loop. Must get back into focus. There we go. Hopefully we'll slowly rebuild some health with Piranha Man. Now, there is a few rather challenging sections actually right near the end of this. In fact, is it coming up this? There's a dark section, I think. And to be honest, I sometimes find it just better to just blast through it and just tank the hits and go. Because you're near the end of the game. Now, might not be so possible depending on your health level, of course. And the way I had played earlier on, I wouldn't be, but... Where is he coming? Yeah, there you go. Come on. How many hits is he taking? Jesus. Boomerangs, again, very useful here, as they have been throughout a lot of this game. Okay. See, look how many hits I managed to get off that guy. For free, basically. Would have liked if he dropped some health at this point, but whatever, because you're getting money, and unless you decide, like if you had return magic, I could see how you might go in here to kind of farm some money and then decide to exit and, you know, come back later. But since, you know, it's quite deep into the game, right near the final boss, you're not just going to, you know, oh, well, I've gotten some money, I'll go back. Like, as I said, I'm not going back now to get whatever, you know, the legendary equipment that I missed, because I'm absolutely could have sworn Oops. Well, I managed to kill him and collect the boomerang. That worked out. You know that I got it, and I know that where the 3 of them are. There's the 5 grand one that's in the kind of escape from the final castle. There's one in the Mika Dragon's room, and then there's one in the upturned boat. That's where they are. Oh well. So we're back to good old Lion Man. Whee! At least we've managed to correct the old health issue. Makeup. Now, to be fair, it was partly my fault for being a bit too casual with it and not changing my gear to suit the right character. Like, I probably could possibly do that with this guy as well. And they've given me a few health drops, which is made up for it. So we gotta drop down. Ooh. Sneaky. This time we can't sneak out like Mouseman could. We have to do this properly, I guess. Like, there still is a gap, I believe, but you couldn't get there. Yeah, now this is where it gets a bit challenging, so I am going to change my gear up. 245, so that blade is still better. 206. Yeah, it's better. Oh, no. Every time I go into the menu now, I'm just getting totally puzzled by the fact that I'm missing the legendary equipment. Hey, stop pushing me. But I sometimes, in one of these rooms as well, I do just sometimes just go, no, screw it. There's so many of these enemies, I'll just tank the hits and just go for it. It's not this one, it's closer to the end. Could be this room, actually. Because you do end up kind of keep turning around to... Oh yeah, it could actually be this one. Yeah, it's challenging. Yeah, it is this room. Oh, you sod. Oh, that was the jump button. Jesus. So I can probably throw down some tornadoes. There we go, yeah. That deals damage. I think you drop down. There we go. So the rooms are actually shaped the same as the ones that you would have passed through in brightness. And it's kind of hinted at in the way that the candles are set up. But it can be misleading the first time you play. So this is also confusing, but you drop down here and there's another hidden door with the final transformation room, which turns you back into Hawkman. So now I'm going to have to change back, change my armor back, because I don't think that is the best equipment for this guy. Attack 88, attack on an 85, yeah. Shield 183, heavenly, yep. Armament. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Sorry, I take it legendary was not better? No. So, that's us set up, and now we just got to make our way up to the final section and take on the final boss. And we're looking for the Salamander Cross, that will remove our curse, apparently. And I'm trying to remember what the name of the final, you know, like, each of the bosses have had... Oop, I didn't change my magic back. It didn't matter, I killed them anyway. Those tornadoes I've made actually good use of in this playthrough, much more than in most playthroughs, actually. So the best thing to do is stand there and go here. You can't fly over, even though it seems like it could go direct. Well, maybe you can, but I always get hit if I do. Because remember, you don't have your shield up, that would happen. So there should be health here again. And that's it. I love the end here, the way it's got set up with the kind of dragon's face. So what is this dragon? I cannot remember. Oh, vampire dragon, that's what he is. So you can... He's challenging, alright. Because I do tend to take a hit on him, and he flies all over the place. But we have plenty of potions, we should be fine. I tend to bounce into him and take a lot of damage in doing so. So, oh, nasty. You can actually fly up and hit him too, which I'm not going to do. So yeah, I'll definitely need a potion now, which is unfortunate because I've made through the whole game without using the potion, so it would have been nice to have completed that. But there we go. Oh, that potion only gave me one? That's not nice. It does. I think it's random how much you get. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, one heart wasn't very friendly, was it? Okay. That potion gave me 2, which also wasn't very friendly. Luckily. Ah, come on. He's one hit from that. There you go, you stinker. Bit of a shame that I didn't manage to make it through in a kind of a completely clean run, but however. So we got the Salamander Cross, got another bit of epilepsy going on, and we're good to go. We got into the final credits. It's amazing how satisfying that was, again, even though I've completed this plenty of times. And you see the different forms. It's kind of touching as well. You actually see, in a way it's sad, like, that's the death animation, in a way, of the various forms. And I always said, is this basically saying that they're all dying? But then they're not dying because it's still you, you know, it's just forms of you. And you're finally back to human, as they would call it in the menus. And you see it's finally now nighttime in Monster World, in the village. So Wonder Boy decides to see if there are any shops open, anyone that he can party with. Hey, I'm back to normal, but no one cares. So he's like, oh well, maybe I should just go home myself. And of course he's like, where's my house? And more to the point, where's my door? Ah, there it is. Like, it's odd that he kind of goes wandering by. No, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't know where my door is. Do you remember? Oh, it's here. And for a second, I actually forgot that the door was visible. I thought it was still invisible, and I thought it was going to be just another invisible door. It's like, even like, you can tell he's good at finding these invisible doors because his house has got one. But anyway, so the tales of our gallant and heroic action. But why is it gallant and heroic? Will be passed down from one generation to another. You were trying to save yourself from a curse. You know, you weren't trying to save the land. I guess you kind of did by defeating the various dragons too. Good night, brave warrior. Good night, Monsterland. Now it's Monster-Land, not to be confused with Monster Space Land or Monster Space World. So you get like a staff roll too, which I remember thinking was pretty cool for the time. So you get human. I'm saying that, it makes it sound like the Ferengi in Star Trek. Human. And Lizard Man in the desert area. I do believe that they're tied to each area, so Mouseman in Mouseman's area. Upside down, of course. Piranha Man in his swimming get-up. In fact, I think we end up going through the enemies too, don't we? It's not like if anyone who's played Shinobi, you know, the ending to that is just text game over, or even something like Alex Kidd, you got a text page and that's it. Most Epic games didn't have endings. They certainly weren't going to have credits like this. Now you get a cast of the various. It was. I was struggling. I kept calling him Minotaur. I kept thinking Minotaur's not right. It's Cyclops. I actually said it in one of the videos was Cyclops. I love how one of the cast members is Falling Block. Not to be confused with Twomp. Now Twomp's totally different. This is Falling Block. Giant Toad, Fuzzball, Deadly Ninja, Deadly Samurai, Fire Octopus. Well, those guys were kind of deadly. Yeah, I did cut that final boss a lot closer than it needed to be. He is pretty brutal in terms of the damage he takes on you, but the pattern is not that difficult. He flies up and down around he will always come back down to about your level, and then you just jump up and whack. You can hit his, he's got a head in his stomach and a head on his head. You can hit either of those, and that's that. He'll recoil and move off. The trick is to make sure you don't get hit by his fire or jump into him, as I was doing. And look, they actually give you a breakdown of the music tracks, which is pretty unusual, and there was quite a few, various tracks, compared to, say, again, stuff like Shinobi or stuff like that, where you only have a couple of tracks. That had, like, for the time, a full soundtrack. Presented by Sega, thank you. And of course, one of the tracks is called The Dragon's Trap, which is the name of the game. I wonder, was it still called that in the PC Engine version? And I think I don't think there's anything else after this. But I figure I may as well let it play to the end. To for those that have joined me throughout this journey, you may as well see the full end of the game. I thought it was quite nice as well. You got the stars moving along, and that's a good ending for an 8-bit game, and it is an adventure game in a sense, even though it's an action game at its core. So it actually did feel very rewarding to have something a little more substantial. And when I played this the first time, it did take years to complete. So it was really enjoyable to actually have a proper ending behind, or to back it all up. And it's easy. You see me, I burned through 2 potions pretty quick. Now I had a third one in reserve, and to be honest, it was pretty stingy in the amount of health that those potions gave me back. I also had the Hades and the Heavenly Armor equipped, so I would have got 1 more potion effect. So I actually was pretty comfortable in completing it, really. But I cannot totally get people getting to the final boss and dying. But anyway, enough waffle. There's plenty of waffle through it. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, and we'll see you again with another video shortly. Bye for now.